By as early, yeah, gone forward in time, by as early as 1787, right, white Londoners, as well as black, were dancing to black dance music at what a contemporary account describes as an innocent amusement vulgarly called black hops, where 12 pence will gain admission. In the same year, an ex-slave from Virginia, blinded in the American War of Independence, was scraping a living with his violin around the streets of London, as we shall see in later chapters. Blah, blah, blah. I'm always getting the commas wrong. Anyway, and a black musician was leading an itinerant concert party around the country. Blah, 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 blah. And here we go. The use of black musicians, listen to this, the use of black musicians, one more time, the use of black musicians as military bandsmen. I'm saying this slowly because you lot are so thick that all you ever do is produce the same costume dramas and you make the whole thing Caucasian-centric. It's like black people didn't exist until 1966 or 64 or what have you with Martin Luther King. Yeah? Anyway, it says here, the use of black musicians as military bandsmen. And remember, Britain once ruled the waves and most of the bloody world because of their military might. And that stemmed from the age of their mercantilism and all that stuff, you know, the triangle trade and the likes of Nelson and Walter Raleigh and the Elizabethans and all that. Anyway, let's get back to it. The use of black musicians as military bandsmen in the British Army, a tradition that reached its height towards the end of the 18th century, seems to have started in the second half of the 17th century. So that would be around about the time of Cromwell, you know. 17th century means 1600s. And it says it seems to have started in the second half of the 17th century. So that's from 1650 onwards. Now, the Glorious Revolution that supposedly got rid of the Stuart dynasty and brought in the modern constitutional, got rid of the Stuart monarchy and brought in the modern constitution. Anyway, something like got rid of the fucking Stuart monarchy, dynasty, and brought in the modern day constitution, parliament and all that stuff, you know, when they were fighting roundheads and cavaliers and what have you. Oliver Cromwell, look it up, Wikipedia it. Anyway, 1688, the Glorious Revolution. John Dryden wrote his poem, the deadliest document in English literature, Absalom and Achitophel. Check it out. I've performed some of it on YouTube, where this video is going to be. Anyway, let's get back to it. Blah, blah. Tradition that reached its height at the end of the 18th century seems to have started in the second half of the 17th century. Black drummers were first acquired by English regiments serving in the West Indies, which is where Oliver Cromwell went. Yeah? There are several, so they probably were in Guyana. Yeah? There are several 17th century records of a colonel presenting a slave to his regiment to act as drummer. According to Sir Walter Scott, 6 black trumpeters were attached to the Scottish Life Guards in 1679. He described them as wearing white dresses richly laced and massive silver collars and armlets. A black kettle drummer can be seen in the background of Sir Godfrey Kneller's portrait of Frederick I, Duke of Schomberg, who served as a cavalry general in the English army. This drummer wears a scarlet coat with gold lace seams embroidered back and front with the royal cipher and a crown, and a small white turban bound round a blue cloth cap with a hanging hood or bag. Hoodies. At least one black drummer was present at the Battle of Blenheim in 1704, and serving under Marlborough in the English army that defeated the French and Bavarians. Yeah? In 1713, a black trumpeter and kettle drummer called Brown in Colonel Boucheter's regiment of dragoons petitioned for an increase of pay, but this petition was turned down on the ground that neither trumpeter nor kettle drummer was allowed by the establishment to the dragoons. Anyway, the petitioner constantly received above the pay of haute bois, which the establishment allows. A contemporary account of a parade of the 4th Dragoons at Stirling in 1715 said, "This was ashore we could not pass by without looking at, and to say truth, I scarce think there is a more showy regiment in Europe. Aye, the 6 drummers were Moors with brass drums, and they rode upon grey horses. Right, Captain, you can't give me no power.